Not now, not ever.
Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom.
No forced redundancies.
You sit down, Clifford. You sit down.
Hi everyone and welcome to Unpacked, the podcast with me, Stevenmiles, Queensland Labor leader.
And Corinne Mulholland, Labor Senator for Queensland.
We have an awesome guest.
We do. Bisma Asif, 29 years of age, Member of Parliament for Sandgate.
First ever Muslim woman elected to Parliament.
Incredible story she has.
I wonder what sandwich she brought.
I know. She is a bit of a connoisseur of sandwiches, so I am...
I hope it's good.
Yes.
The last lunch I had with Bisma, though, was at KFC, so...
A zinger burger, a bucket.
It was a zinger burger with some wicked wings.
I love a good zinger burger.
All right, shall we get Bisma in?
Let's get her in.
Okay.
Welcome. Hello. Come on in.
Hey Bisma, great to see you.
See you. What sauce?
I have.
It's going to get saucy. Excellent.
Well, let's start there. Unpack your sandwich. Tell us what you got.
So, this is from Frankie's, which is in my electorate of Sandgate. It's very close to me because it opened up during the campaign when I was endorsed as a candidate. So, I spent a lot of time door knocking up and down those streets, and the sandwiches would look at me. So, this is my favourite.
Oh, wow.
It is a classic chicken schnitty sandwich with cheese.
Yep.
And then you put hot sauce on it, and it makes everything so much better.
Where's our hot sauce from?
It's Frank's hot sauce. Now,
Oh.
I think you can put it on anything. Not sponsored by Frank's hot sauce, but
Always looking for sponsors.
That looks delicious.
so you just open it up.
Oh,
and
so you
it's
put
got
it on.
cheese, and I just
Melted
put it on.
cheese,
Melted
mustard.
cheese. It's beautiful.
Is there any salad on there? No, good.
There's lettuce.
There's a little bit of lettuce?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Eat healthy, and then you just drizzle the hot sauce on,
Jeez.
and it's crunchy. And do you guys want some? I think I'm gonna have a bite.
Go for it. You should have a bite.
I should have a bite. Okay.
That sounds amazing.
It
That
does.
sounds amazing.
It's delicious.
Very good.
Jeez, that looks so good.
Well, now that your mouth's full, we'll start asking you questions.
But you have an incredible story, Bisma, and you have ended up here in Queensland Parliament serving as a member for Sandgate. Tell us about that journey.
Yes, so I was 11 years old when I got my citizenship. I actually moved here when I was 8. I was born in Lahore, and yes, my family and I, my younger sister and my parents and I moved here. It was very new, did not speak the language, so coming in was a bit of a culture shock, and I still remember when we first moved here.
And why did they move?
So Dad got a job here. He thought it would be best for us to move just so my sister and I could get a really good education. We didn't speak English or the language, so I'm really glad they made the decision they did.
Big jump.
Yes, huge. So just, I still try to sort of keep myself grounded because I can remember when we first came here sitting on the plane, coming over. I'd never been on a plane before.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared.
Excited.
I was very excited. Okay. Yes, yeah. Moving schools and finding new people, but it was a very interesting time.
What was starting school like as a new immigrant to Australia? You didn't speak English. What was that like?
It was very scary. So I remember sitting in the classroom and they, I think they still do it, where you have to sit down, cross your legs, and then pay attention, and they do the 3, 2, 1. And I just didn't understand that. So a lot was going on around me and I didn't understand the language. So my teachers obviously picked that up very quickly, and we had an amazing teacher, Mrs. Ducks, and she worked with the teachers who do language classes. So for kids who migrate, it still run that program, and they were amazing. So I picked that up very quickly.
Yeah, now you speak English better than all of us.
Oh, well. Lot of
Maybe
practice.
just better than me. So you moved to the Sandgate area right away, or when you first got here?
No. So when we first got here, we came into Western Sydney, and then we migrated again into Queensland. And
What
my
a good
dad-
decision coming to Queensland.
Yes. So Dad got a job with Queensland Rail, and so we decided to move here.
Oh, that's great. And when did you start thinking about politics, taking an interest in politics?
I started thinking about politics very soon after I entered university. So I studied economics at UQ, and I was looking, it was around the same time when there was a lot of talk about Medicare and I actually got quite sick when I was in my first year of uni, and I needed a couple of tests done that they told me weren't covered under Medicare, and it was under the coalition government at the time, and there was a lot of talk about further cuts, so I decided to get involved and, joined the Labor Party.
I think all three of us kind of got involved in politics at uni, and healthcare is something that we've all taken an interest in.
So, talk us about, you were unwell, you were passionate about Medicare. What were the steps that you took to get into politics? Because often people would look at someone like you and go, that's a pretty incredible story. You're 29 years of age, you're in the parliament. How'd you get there?
Well, I joined the local club on campus, and I started getting...
To be clear, that was the Labor Club, though.
Yes. So
there are no other clubs, to be clear.
The UQ ALP Club, joined them on campus, and I got involved on Wayne Swan's campaign in Lily at the time, and just the way he spoke, you always see him on TV, and, he was the treasurer during a really difficult time for our country, so always very inspiring. So he was the reason why I sort of started to get more involved on the grassroots level.
So it's former Treasurer Wayne Swan, current party president?
Yes.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of him. And so he was the reason I started.
Someone we should get on the podcast.
We should.
Yes, yeah. So
We might need a longer time slot, though.
He's the first ever person I door knocked for.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, decided to stick around and then did a lot of campaigning locally. And look, it wasn't always something that I thought I would be doing. So to be able to do it is, I always think it's the best honour and the biggest privilege I will ever have. And always grateful for the opportunity. But I think I do try to draw on some of those experiences and not take for granted why I'm here, because I don't think it's about me or my journey. It's about who else comes after us and what we can do for them.
The handover and succession planning that Sterling Hinchliffe, your predecessor, did, I haven't seen anyone do it as well as Sterling did with you.
It was really good.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about how did that relationship develop? How did Sterling suggest you should do it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we, my husband and I, Mitchell and I, moved into the area, and at that time Sterling was still our member, and we were very involved locally, and when he made the decision, it wasn't decisive at the time, but he said maybe if that's something you would be looking for, you should consider it. And we had a really good conversation around where I see our community going and my vision. And initially he didn't mention why or what it was. It was just a meeting. And then he asked if I'd be interested in doing it. And absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And it's not just a straight path, into politics either. So...
Well, for Bisma it was. You and I had to lose a bunch of times.
This is true. You were far more successful than we were. So kudos to you. But one of the things one of the posts I'm sticks in my mind from your social media are some of those posts that people have, some comments that people put onto your social media when you were announced and throughout your campaign, pretty racially motivated, pretty gendered, that type of stuff. And as a fellow woman, that's the type of stuff that really puts women off running, because it's scary, and it's, there's the bots and there's the crazy alt-right men who are jumping on your page saying crazy things. How do you, tell us a little bit about that, but how do you also navigate through something that's so public and at times pretty mean and nasty?
I think for me, it was a decision I had to make very early on because I started getting those comments almost immediately from the day I was announced. I could either sit here and get very upset about these things, an initial shock of, oh my gosh, people still think like this, and I haven't had some of these comments since I first moved here, and it was short after a lot of events that occurred globally. But people do still think like that. So I had to accept that and then do something about it, in that I now highlight it in a way where I think not to sort of make them feel awful about it, but still acknowledge that this exists and we have to have a cultural change. So I don't let it get to me, but I think that there is a responsibility for us to call it out.
Shining a light on it, right?
Yeah, shining a light on it. And then I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, and I really want to be able to ensure that younger people, younger women or children that are coming through from migrant families don't have to go through that. So you can't be what you can't see, and then the more people see it, hopefully that behaviour does change.
Some people have said to me when I was running for the Senate campaign, don't read the comments, Corinne. Don't read the comments on your own social media. I mean, I can't help read the comments. I love the comments.
Well, it's such a shame too, because some of the comments are really important information you want to hear from people. Yeah.
I've read your comments sometimes, and it's all about your bench pressing and your outfit of the day.
They clip the nice comments and they send those to me. Yeah.
People had a lot of strong views about your collars at one point.
I did get new shirts after a concerted campaign in the comments about
my
collars.
There was. So, interesting times in the Wild West of the comments
Someone
section.
accused me of wearing shirts from Kmart last week.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure if they were trying to insult me or...
I love Kmart. I'm a Kmart mum. I love it. So that's not
You've got a new
offensive.
job. You can afford Target now.
I know.
Hey,
It's
they have a pretty good collection.
They do. Little Anko finds. Terrible. What have you been working on in that time?
So we've had lots of things on locally. The things that I've really tried to champion is making sure that I continue to remain as active as possible. I've had 30 mobile offices across the Sandgate electorate since the election, in every suburb multiple times, because I do want to reach out to people that may not be able to come to my office. So it's a really big thing for me to be able to meet people where they're at, whether that's the local shops or outside their school, picking up children. So I've done 30 of those. And as part of that, we also just recently ran our Sandgate budget submission process. So asking people what it is they'd like to see in our local community and making sure that it's something that we continue to fight for.
What sort of things come out of that process? What do people say?
Something that's really big that people are keen on is making sure that we continue to provide funding for domestic violence services and homeless services in our local area, along with investment in healthcare. They really want a nurse-led clinic. I've spoken to so many people who want a nurse-led clinic in our area, and it is something that I have put forward. And
Just explain to everyone what a nurse-led clinic is.
so a nurse-led clinic is fantastic. It was an initiative by the former government. And
Loved those guys.
Missed them.
But the good thing about it was you could walk in, it's free, you were able to get access to healthcare by a nurse practitioner, you didn't have to make an appointment for a GP, and we know that that is difficult at the moment. It is something that the government's working on fixing federally, but we need those interim options for people to be able to get access to healthcare. And people in our area, there's younger families moving in with, kids get sick and it's harder to get those appointments, so that would fix that
They
problem.
are really popular.
They are popular, so yes.
And
Fingers
you have an
crossed.
incredible precinct there at Sandgate at the old Eventide or the Brighton Health Campus.
The Brighton Health Campus.
I'm a new mum. I go there all the time with my little baby, and they have a really great child health clinic, which is amazing, with drop-in services and free services. So I could only imagine if that was broadened out to the rest of the community who are calling out for that type of service, it would be amazing.
And didn't the LNP want to close that whole campus?
They did.
They did. So they actually sacked a lot of our local nurses at the time as well, and it is something that's still felt through our community, which is why, going into this, it's important to continue to highlight that, because people still are scared of what might happen. And that's something we'll continue to advocate for, but we also need to expand on that. We need to make sure that those services are being brought. So it's really good to hear you're using it, because a lot of older people in our community also use that service. And I'd love to see a place where, if it was a nurse-led clinic, younger people would be coming in. They'd be also there's a cafe across the road, bringing those people in at times of need.
Yeah, it's an incredible precinct.
One of the great things about our jobs, I think, is they're kind of like 4 or 5 different jobs in one. And so you've talked a bit about being a local MP, and that's really rewarding and important. We're filming this at the end of a pretty long sitting week here at the Parliament, and being a parliamentarian is another part of that job. What's the best thing about, what have you enjoyed most about being in Parliament?
What I've enjoyed most is actually getting to know a lot of other MPs and how they
Yeah,
deal
we're
with
pretty
things.
great.
Yeah. But I think coming in here, as someone who never thought I would be here, I think I still, every time I come in, I pinch myself because I think it's an amazing building and the honour of being here is spectacular. Just sitting in that chamber, it is so loud in there, and that's something that I've had to get used to. So it does get me every time we go in for question time, and I think, wow, it is very loud in here.
It can get pretty nasty too, hey?
It can.
Yeah.
It can. And that is something you do get told, this is how it is. But I think, I wish it wasn't like that.
Yeah, me too.
And I think, especially from, a younger perspective of politics, and I'm hearing...
You're just rubbing that in, aren't you? Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing it from a lot of younger people right now because that's almost something that they now expect from our politicians, and I think that shouldn't be the case because if we want young people to engage with politics, we have to change the way they look at it. And it's not necessary. We're all here to do the same thing in a way, is to make positive changes for people that live in our state. And
Turn-offs screaming. Terrible. It's awful.
Next segment is Cut the Crust, where we ask your opinion on some topical issues, and we have a few of those here. But I'm interested in, from your perspective, how social media has changed how and where people get their information from. What are you seeing?
I think that social media is now an incredibly powerful tool, and to be able to use it properly, there's opportunity there because I think a lot of younger people especially, and across all demographics, are getting a lot of their information from social media. So the way I have seen it, and even myself, I pick up the phone. Sometimes you don't have time to turn on the TV and watch it, so you go on their Instagram and watch the 2-minute clips, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. So for us to be able to meet people again where they're at, whether that is online, I think is incredibly important. The only thing that does scare me is, we live in a Trumpian world with Donald Trump where fact-checking is now no longer a thing on Meta, and that is scary.
We have a fact checker here on our
Great.
podcast
Everything
as well.
we say is factual.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely great.
The highest levels of accountability and research in this podcast. Just as a
Do you,
tidbit.
how useful do you find social media communicating locally with your community?
I find it really helpful because I think a lot of people that don't necessarily come and see me face to face are able to then message me or comment and we can get back to them. I think it's a great way to communicate with people. Again, we spoke about some of the not so good things, but I also think that it's really powerful, and more people using it is probably a good thing.
So we've talked a bit about how, people seeing you in this role might encourage other young women or migrants to get more involved in the community. Do you find you've got, kind of outside of your electorate, a bit of a following on your social media from those kind of backgrounds and communities as well?
Yeah, so I find I've started doing a lot of my content so I speak 4 languages. I do try to do it.
What are those 4 languages?
English, Urdu, Punjabi and Hindi. So I do try to do some of my content in other languages, especially when it comes to really important stuff during the cyclone. I did all of my videos in both English and then chose to do them in another language because we wanted to get through to those people that may not necessarily look at my content and then pay attention. And I also do it with, it's Domestic and Family Violence Month, so a lot of that information I was putting out, I was also doing it in Hindi and Punjabi to make sure that those people could also understand some of the services that are available to them. So I think people do tend to then follow me on that, and I think it's important. So I'm able to put that out, and then they feel more engaged with politics in our state as well.
I saw you doing a lot of Facebook Lives during Cyclone Alfred.
I thought they were dead. They're not.
Well, I was going to say, I thought they were
You
dead.
brought
and I
back
was,
the Facebook
you
Live.
brought them back. And just on that, did you find that the Facebook Lives were a powerful tool?
I found them useful mainly because we were trying to update people so rapidly and things were changing so quickly that I would just timestamp them, and then people could go back and find out, how relevant things were. And then we started getting a lot of comments of, are you still there? Can we come out? And how easy would it be? So I think it's important to be able to do that if it's relevant at the time. How important it is after, I'm not sure, but that's how I used it.
Facebook Lives were real big during COVID, and I did a few press conferences during COVID that were just every now and then. One of the hot topics in politics, particularly, I guess, after the federal election campaign, is the role of influencers. You saw the Prime Minister doing podcasts. You saw Abby Chatfield pretty aggressively pushing one political party. Where do you see all that going?
I think the role of people that are influencers that do, through the nature of it, influence how people should do things, whether that's buying a product or voting for a particular party. A lot of the times when they do the products, they are paid. So I think it would really depend. Are they being paid to do certain content? I think that's been really topical. Or whether it is something that they believe. And I think if that's the case, that should be disclosed because you're entitled to hold your opinions. We know people hold all different sorts of opinions, but when you have following that is millions of people, I think the way to do it would be to place all of the facts on the table, and then people can make up their own minds. I think we need to give people more credit where it's due. They do go and do their research. I've had lots of conversations where they do that. So, and it's what we do. We try to make sure that we are letting people know the truth, and then they go and make up their minds, as should the influencers.
It's not like mainstream media columnists would be trying to influence people and pushing an agenda. So I found it quite funny that everyone had a big problem with influencers being involved in the political debate. I thought it was a really strange thing that everyone all of a sudden thought that was a problem, but we're totally fine with someone with a typewriter bashing out a particular opinion and pushing a particular side of politics.
No, I mean, the more people talk about it, this is really important stuff that people need to know about. So I don't think there's a problem that influencers talking about it. I think it's actually a good thing because it's engaging a certain demographic maybe who wouldn't have normally seen it, whether they're busy and they come home and that's the only thing they've seen that day. But I think the content that we put out is really important.
Absolutely, and being clear about where the information's coming from and misinformation. That's probably such a really big thing that came out of COVID was, there was a lot of misinformation going around social media. I know you were doing your best, Stephen, to myth bust some of that stuff as health minister at the time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's worse now, though, isn't it? I was just listening now to Robert F. Kennedy talking about vaccines and autism, and they're funding a bunch of research to try to demonstrate that vaccines are to blame, and that's the health secretary of the United States.
It's terrible, and one of the things that we've been talking about federally is this need for open data, and a lot of medical research, a lot of articles are behind paywalls, and you've got to be either part of a tertiary institution or a subscription to one of these big articles to be able to get access to them, and making information and the outcomes of various medical research studies more available. I think it's a good thing because people can go on and access this information and realise that that's a bit crazy what they're talking about.
It is scary, and this is the thing, when especially with these influencers from all sides have, again, millions of people who follow them, who pay a lot of attention to what they have to say, and I think that's a huge responsibility. So the way that is used is incredibly important.
What's one of the favourite accounts that you are following? Who do you like to check in with? If you're scrolling on the old Facey B and the old Instagram, who are you checking in on?
So I actually follow an account, and it's actually not political. So we talk about politics so much that I try to follow accounts that resonate with what I care about outside of politics. So I follow this beautiful account. It's G Bungalow. I don't know if you're aware of it. And it's a family, Roshan and her husband, who initially bought a house in G Bung, and they renovated it, and now they've had 3 beautiful children. And it just follows her life, and it's so normal. She's going about the daily life, and I just think it's beautiful because she also promotes, women going back to work after having children, and how difficult or not difficult it can be, and how you can make those things easier. And it's just such a positive account to look at because she somehow finds a way to make everything easy. So I just like following those sorts of accounts as well, where I can learn how to DIY something, but then also remember that, all is well. All is well in the world.
You just need a little bit of life in G-Bung.
Yeah.
How about you, Stephen? What are you following on the old Instagram and Facebook?
That's a good question.
People are often following you. We were downstairs before, and there was a bunch of school students, and there was a lot of squealing and a lot of selfies that were going down. So
Yeah, look, I mean, so much of the way we communicate with Queenslanders is through those platforms. But I've got to know a bunch of Queensland influencers really well. John Wyeth is probably my favourite, and in fact, I was stoked recently. He found a restaurant in my suburb in Mango Hill that I hadn't been to before, and declared it one of the best in Brisbane. So we're going to have to try it. It's a new kind of Japanese Korean barbecue place. Yeah, it looks really good. It's like an all-you-can-eat thing.
Big foodie, so please share.
Will
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
The last of our segments on
Yes.
the Unpacked podcast, we hit you with a recent quote, and you let us know if you can work out who it was and if you what you think about it.
Okay.
So, Corinne, do you want to do the first one?
Okay. First quote.
Yes.
We lost the flag, but we're ready for a new season.
Oh. It almost feels like it would be a sporting coach, but somehow it feels political.
And they lost more than a flag, I reckon.
Okay.
A whole part of their team.
Well, was it Susan Lay?
Well done. Ding ding. I'm just glad that the astrology girlies are getting a bit of a hearing,
I think it's great.
right?
Yeah.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Libra.
Ooh,
So
okay.
very
I'm a Taurus.
indecisive, diplomatic at times.
Yeah, balanced.
You were neither of
Balanced.
those.
I know, right?
So the next one, cost of living issues are human rights issues.
Cost of living issues. Was it someone in the Queensland Parliament that said this?
No, it
Okay.
wasn't. This is a tough one to expect you to guess. So I'm just going to tell you, and then you can tell me
Okay.
what you think. This is
I have
from-
heard it before, but I don't know who it's come from.
This was Rosalind Croucher, the president of the Human Rights Commission.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we need better quotes.
Yeah.
Who's writing this?
We need
material?
some from maths.
Yeah. Is this one of your fact checkers? Can
we have some-
Yeah.
Who
I
is
want some
this?
from maths next time.
Yes,
It's early on.
yes.
We'll
Did you-
get better.
I watched
We'll
that
get
season.
better.
I know. I'm deep into the latest season of The Handmaid's Tale at the moment. Don't want to do any spoilers.
I did
but
see the promo for that. Is it good?
a lot's going on. A lot's going on in the new season.
Okay.
On SBS too. Check it out.
SBS or their streaming platform.
Yes.
If you're watching or listening and you have a better quote than that one that our guests can guess at, please feel free to send it in to us.
So spicy.
Some fun quotes. Some spicy quotes.
Some spicy
Yeah.
quotes would be good.
Yeah.
But while we are talking about streaming,
Yes.
what are we all watching in all that spare time that we've got? Bisma, what are you watching on streaming services?
I've actually just finished watching Severance. It's on Apple TV. And yeah, I highly recommend it. I think you guys should watch it.
What's it about?
Well, without spoiling it too much, it's the concept is where you could go to work and you would be severed, and you wouldn't have any memories of your work, the work that you do, and then you would go home and you would be a complete different person. So they call them innies and outies.
Yes.
So you would essentially be two different people. It is very interesting, but I feel like if I went on, it would ruin it. But it's sort of based around the concept of the corporate world where, you know, we go to work and our lives are completely different and we almost become so focused on our work. But yes.
When I first heard the premise, I thought that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
But then
Yes.
it's not, is it?
No, it's not. and it touches on the issues that can arise from that. So
What are you watching, Stephen?
I think we're watching. I'm a bit behind on Severance. We got through, I think, the first season. I'm watching You on Netflix, which is about a psychopath.
A stalker?
Yeah.
I watched 2 seasons of that and so I'm a bit behind.
What am I watching?
What are you watching, Corinne?
I don't get a
Maths.
lot of... Well, no, I don't get a lot of time for TV.
Did
at
you
the
watch
moment.
Maths?
No.
I did.
I'm going to be honest and tell you what I have been watching. So I have a little baby, so I spend a little bit of time up late at night, and sometimes you need to turn your brain off, and I got really into The Real Housewives of Sydney. I'm not proud of it, but...
That is bad.
I know, but I got really into it, and
What was the highlight of Real Housewives of Sydney?
A new character this time, and she was, she didn't like everyone talking over each other, and she didn't like the complex, nature of the. She's just not. She's not suited for real life.
Yeah, you're not really selling it.
She's not. Well, yeah. No. I'm just concerned that there is no Real Housewives of Brisbane, and I think that's as a new senator for Queensland, it's something I'm going to think about. I think
It's a big area you could champion.
it's a big area. We've got Real Housewives in Melbourne. We've got them in Sydney, not in Brisbane.
What do you think would be different, the Real Housewives of Brisbane?
I think there'd be a lot of activewear. Be a lot of going to Kmart.
Yeah.
Love our Kmart here. What else?
Get up really early.
We get up early.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to make some quality television.
Running in the dark.
Don't knock it till you watch it, folks.
Right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our episode of Unpacked with Bisma Asif. Thanks so much for joining us, Bisma. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me. On that note, I'm going to leave you with my hot sauce as a souvenir.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can have it.
Frank's
It's
red
great.
hot.
You put it on
Is it really
everything.
hot?
It's not really hot, and I think I like this flavour palette. I think it goes on everything. I've actually even put it on stir fry.
Right.
I am not joking when I say I put it on everything.
Former Deputy Premier Paul Lucas is a connoisseur of hot sauces.
Oh, shout out to Paul Lucas if he's watching.
Shout out.
Yes.
He loves a good hot sauce, so could get him to do a bit of review on that.
Do you know what you could do? And this is a recommendation. I don't know if you're taking them, but you should do
We are.
wings.
Yep.
Wings.
Wings.
Yeah, and then you can unpack and you do different flavour palettes and you can ask harder and harder questions as you get people to have super hot wings.
Oh, there you go.
You know that's a massive show already.
Yeah, but it's,
Copy their idea.
we are not, we're not singers or movie stars. This is about politics. So you can ask hard questions about politics
Over chicken wings.
over chicken wings.
Sounds a bit sticky.
As long as it's
Sticky, saucy. We'll leave it there.
Well, how impressive is Bisma?
She's amazing.
I've really only known her since she became our candidate, but you've known her longer than that, yeah?
Yeah. So we were kind of at separate ends of Young Labor. So she was coming in as I was aging out of Young Labor. So,
Yeah, right.
got to see her a little bit when she was starting out in Young Labor, which was amazing.
But imagine coming here and going to school and not being able to speak a word of English, and then now she can speak 4 languages. That's a wrap on Unpacked, our podcast, and we hope to see you again soon.
Not ever.
Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom.
No forced redundancies.
You sit down, Buffett. You sit down.